It's a kid's birthday today. We made our chocolate cakes yesterday. Here's the vegan one. So literally it's the first time I'm turning it over since then. You'll notice it's nice and soft. Right now it's quite firm from the fridge, but it's at least flat and you can use the whole cake. Same thing with this. That's the normal one for the non-veggies. Everybody was concerned, or Michelle was concerned, about the spray and cook. Doesn't have to be a sharp knife. Run it around the edges. Cake is perfect. Now, with having twins, it's kind of difficult. Genevieve at the moment is into blueberries. She's made the choice of cake for a while, and she doesn't mind sharing, so we made the vegan one. So I'm going to make a vegan blueberry chocolate cake. Okay, for Kieran, he wants a peanut butter chocolate cake. So I've got some beautiful peanut butter here. I've got some caramel couverture. This is beautiful stuff. I said beautiful 10 times. This is an amazing chocolate. It's Valrhona caramel, and I'm going to make a glaze with it. I'll call it an oil ganache. Okay, so before you start decorating your cakes, what you want to do is you want to prepare everything so that all the dirty work is done. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my cake out the way. The way I cut the cakes essentially is turn the cake at the same time as cutting. Oh, this cake is moist, huh? It really is.
Apart.
It's my second go-to cake at the moment. Very crumbly, very moist. Absolutely beautiful. A chocolate ganache the other day. If you remember correctly, I just left it overnight at room temperature. Try not to put it in the fridge. It'll get really, really solid. Okay, so I'm going to cream this now for Kieran's peanut butter ganache. Just putting slabs of that in. I'm going to put a bit more on the cake itself. Beautiful ganache peanut butter cream. Some normal coconut buttercream. Some jam, and the one I'm making I'll call it a granny cake. Basically jam and sponge, which is sometimes better than the other ones. A little bit of ganache. This is just to help it stick a little bit. Second layer, exactly the same. Okay, for the top layer, I just turned it upside down so you see a flat side. The other side is very soft, just other way like that. For Kieran's cake, a little bit of peanut butter. Whatever you're using is just the medium for the peanut butter to stick to. Some peanut butter ganache. I've got some dried Russian fudge here, a little bit of that. Some caramel sauce. Next layer exactly the same. Okay, for the granny cake, just putting the coconut ganache cream on there, and I'm just going to push it over. Just be careful, there's no eggs in the vegan chocolate cake, so it's quite brittle. It keeps falling apart. So I put it on top and I work it down the edges. Just working it slowly, not forcing it. Don't try slab it on. Okay, and then working it around the edges. Ooh, almost not enough. On a lot of this cream, it's really, really tasty. Okay, so I want it to look nice and rough. Sometimes those are the country favorites that you're actually looking for. You don't want a perfect chocolate cake. You want it to look like Granny made it. Blueberries on top. And just before I'm serving this, I'm going to dust it with a little bit of ice and sugar. Job done. And I'm putting it onto a nice rustic wooden board. I've left the base on this one because it's such a brittle cake. Okay, make sure that your buttercream is texture that you're comfortable with. Okay, so you just slab it on top. Exactly the same process. We're just going to neaten it up in the end. I said earlier, you got comfort food, and that's where I make my granny cakes. And then this one I'm going to glaze in a perfect glaze not quite mirror, but I'm going to glaze it with a chocolate glaze. It'll be crackly on top, just like those caramel ice creams. And then now to straighten the edges, get something that's right angle, that's flat, put it on the side and turn your tray. Now some people have got turntables. I've never used a turntable. I just use whatever's available to me. And then on the edges, so you just need to turn it continuously. On the edges, I just cut it. We go around the whole cake. So that it's got sharp edges. If you want round edges, I just did this a couple more times, just straighten the edges, bring in that extra stuff on the side. It'll just glaze more better. Please, I've done this 1,000 times. You'll battle at first, just give it a go. Once you put the glaze on, you're not going to see much difference anyway. I'm going to rest this in the fridge, and in the meantime, I'm going to make the glaze, and then we're ready to go. Glaze, essentially the same principle as ganache. Instead of cream, I'm using oil. Okay, oil, not over 100 degrees. You're going to have to guess this a little bit, but really it's not hot at all. Chocolate doesn't like too much heat. If you're worried about melting chocolate, just remember it melts in your mouth, 37 degrees. So you add the chocolate in there and you just keep mixing. The viscosity is just too runny. I'm going to put this in the fridge for a little bit. Just keep an eye on it, keep stirring it and get the texture so that it's like melted chocolate. Now I want some chocolate shards on top of the cake, and I'm going to need to temper chocolate. Now it's quite technical. It's about seeding the chocolate, etc., etc. I really don't want to bore you with that. If I get 10 requests on the site, I will do a session on tempering chocolate. Cool. Okay, chocolate's tempered. I just take some normal baking paper, 4 corners, pour some chocolate on there, and I'm just want rustic shards. You can cut, you can do anything. Chocolate is beautiful. It's an amazing way to express yourself. So there's a whole lot you can do. You can do those cut out animal thingies. Anything. It really is amazing what you can do with it. The thinner you make it, the better it is. Okay, now some of this I want to have some grated chocolate on. It just gives a nice eclectic look to the cake. Now, maybe I'll make this a little bit structured with the unstructured grated and stuff like that. So I'll do some triangles, rough triangles. I don't want to turn or swirl chocolate. If you are interested in chocolate, just remember, 10 requests, I'll do a chocolate session. I'll do tempering and I'll do a whole lot of chocolate. Okay, now to release the bottom of your pan, just cut it round and lift it up. So it takes all the ugly bits off onto a glazing rack. Now you see that's starting to set. Be very careful. The viscosity of this is vital. It needs to be runny and it mustn't hold a pattern on top. So it's just at that point of temperature, and I'm moving a lot and I'm talking a lot, but you know, all of these things can be addressed in a chocolate session, which is a little bit more technical than just Mommy's quick buttercream. That's why I made Mommy's quick buttercream. It's just holding itself. It's just runny enough. Straight onto the cake. I would normally strain this if I was doing competition work and stuff, but it's only for the kids. It doesn't matter if it's ugly. Oh, just move it to the edges. Now it's glazed, but remember the cake was chilled, so I'm just going to get rid of all the little knobs and just get it nice and mirror glaze on the edges where my little stripes are. A little bit of tempered chocolate in a cornet. Not going to show off with that one again. I was told I was showing off the other day. Okay, so I've got that. I've got a very thin stream of chocolate. And I just want it quite rustic. I don't want it neat and tidy. The soft, just leave it at room temperature. You don't have to refrigerate it unless you really are battling with it. Dust off all the pieces. I'm just going to slam it whilst this glaze is still semi-soft. Just going to hopefully do it neatly so that it doesn't mess the cake. Okay, now for the other one, I just wanted it to be snapped just into pieces, but random rustic shards. Just gives it different colors of brown, and then we'll put a flash of color in a second. Always a difficult time of the year. It's lifting it up. It's a little bit difficult. Be creative when you're putting it on things. This is just a normal barrel tray that we use for service. Putting on the back of that, I just thought the color would just bring it together. Then I'm going to just take some random stuff and just put it around just to make it a little bit interesting, break the texture. Okay, so a mixture of eclectic, neat, untidy, some favorite things. I've tried to stick with browns, different shades of browns with a little flash of green. And then for Genevieve's cake, she's into blueberries, a little bit of ice and sugar with that. Is that. Give it a try. Post some of your examples. We'd love to see it on www.lavala.co.nz. Have fun.